Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to use Anki for the MCAT. Okay, so after we downloaded Anki, you can just copy and paste this link and download the Anki program. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to download this free deck. It's the Anki version of the MileDown deck. It's a really good deck that I used. And so what we're going to do is, since we copied that link, all we're going to do is just paste that link. It'll take us to download option. I'm just gonna hit download anyway. So as that is being downloaded, I'm going to add the add-ons. In order to do that, I'm going to copy this code for all the useful add-ons. And after I copy it, we're going to go to tools and go to add-ons. Okay. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit get add-ons and paste the code. Okay. After I do that, I'm gonna hit OK, and it's going to download all of these add-ons. Okay. And since I already downloaded the add-ons, I'm not going to download it again. But once you hit OK, it's going to download, and then it's going to ask you to restart Anki. And all you'll have to do is you just close out of Anki by hitting this red X, and then just hit the program to open it up again. Okay. So what you can see now is if you go back to add-ons, you'll probably see all of these in they'll all be white and it will not say disabled. That means that all of the add-ons in white will be added on to the program. And if we want to turn an add-on off, all we have to do is just toggle over it by clicking it and then hit toggle enabled. I just enabled it because I disabled that specific one. But for example, if I don't want my background picture of like my screensaver of my laptop to be on the Anki interface, I'm just gonna click it and hit toggle enabled, and that'll disable. So it's just the same concept for any of these that we don't want, but I recommend just keeping pretty much all of these on. Okay, and then after that, you can just close and like right here, it says changes will occur after you restart. And so we're good to go with the add-ons. Okay, since the deck downloaded, what I'm going to do is just click on the download and hit yes. By doing so, we're gonna get the new deck, the pre-made deck. And so that's gonna load. Okay. And now we have the pre-made Anki deck. Okay. And so this is what you should see. I think there's like 5,000 cards. Yeah. So this is part of this right here, this table thing is a part of the add-on that we added, which is really nice because we can see how many cards we haven't seen in the deck. And so this is how many cards we'll start out with. And it's really like 2,800 some cards. It's just a lot of these cards. There's one card, but there's multiple different questions on each card, so to say. Different closes is what it's called. And we'll look at that in a second. So really, that's about like 2,800 cards, which isn't too bad. There's just multiple closes for each card. Okay, and so this is what we should see. Okay. And from here, what we can talk about now is our settings, our Anki settings for this deck. So what I would do is I'd click on this because these are sub decks to the main deck, which just incorporates all the sub decks. So this is behavioral, this is psych soc, this is biochem, bio, all your different concepts, all your cards for each concept of the MCAT, each topic on the MCAT. Okay, so I just click on this MileDown deck and I'll click options. Okay, and these are our settings. And so I'm gonna change these settings to the following settings that I used, and I think they're most superior settings, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So for me, I would like to do 50 new cards each day, and then I would max it out. I would just hit 999. This is just all, this basically is making it so that any card I've seen, whenever it's due, I will see it. And so this is what I would do. And scrolling down, what I want to do for this is we're going to do sequential, which is what we want. And the learning steps we want, actually, you know what? First, we need to go to FSRS. Scroll down. So we'll see this FSRS, which is basically like this new add-on. Um, and this is really important. Basically tailors your Anki progress to how you've been, using Anki, and so it'll help you basically see the cards you need to see when you need to see it, based off of how frequently you do Anki. And this is pretty important. Desired retention. It's basically saying if I put 0.9 right here, this means that any card I'll see, I'll have a 90% chance of getting right. And we want it around from like 0.92 to 0.85. And so if it's around 0.9, that's going to be a heavier workload than say 0.85. And so if we're ever feeling overburdened by the amount of review cards that we see, which are these green cards, cards we've already seen and are actively learning each day, then you should lower your retention. And we can talk about this if this were to occur. This happened to me. My retention was at 0.92 and the reviews were insane. I had way too many cards to review and I didn't have enough time. So I dropped it down to like 0.88. Okay. And so this is like basically your workload. We want to be anywhere from 0.92 to 0.85 for the MCAT. And then, so that's good. And then after that, we're gonna every week hit optimize, which just basically like refreshes your Anki and your FSRS to what you're currently doing and how you've been doing throughout the week. Not really sure what it does. I just think it just like make sure everything is up to date with FSRS. Okay, so we can just hit optimize and everything's optimal. Okay, and so that should be good. Okay, since we use FSRS, what we want this is why I went down originally to look at FSRS first before coming here for the new card settings. So this would change. So what we want to put is 20 minutes for that, and we want this to be in sequential order, oldest cards first. And then after that, what we want to do is put relearning steps. We want it to be at 20 minutes. And then leech threshold is 4. Leech cards essentially are cards that we keep getting wrong, and it will just be tagged as a leech. And we'll go over what tags are in a little bit, but essentially it just creates a list of all these cards you keep getting wrong, which basically means you need to go back and understand why you're getting these wrong. Maybe the card was just made pretty poorly, and or maybe you just have a concept gap and you just need to relearn the concept and go back and do some more reviews of that concept. Okay, and then from there, we're gonna do ascending position for a new card, gather order, and then we're gonna do um, order gathered, and then we're gonna do um, so this is up to you. I would recommend doing new cards before reviews. Some people like doing new cards after reviews, which I think is a good thing to do. But because there's so little time, I think it's important to see the new cards that you've made or the unsuspended cards that you just or the suspended cards that you just unsuspended. We'll go into what that means in a bit. And so this is what I would do personally. I would go in between throughout my MCAT journey, but I would just try to get the new cards in so you can see them. And then we're going to do show before reviews for interday learning review order, and then due date, then random. That's good. Okay, siblings. This really just pertains to the cards that have multiple closes on them. So like for example, if there's a card and it's like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and one of the closes is over mitochondria, and another close is over the cell, then, or the powerhouse, whatever it may be, then this means that we're not going to see those two closes at the same time, the same day. One of them will be buried just so that we just don't remember the card necessarily. It's like we're actually testing ourselves instead of just, oh, I recognize this card, so it has to be this, right? I probably just confused you, but we'll go over what I just said in a little bit. So we're gonna hit bury new siblings, and then audio. I don't really. remember any audio with my cards, but we'll just put that anyways. Um, then maximum answer seconds, I would put 30 for this. This will keep you on track so you don't do Anki for like 4 hours each day. And so you're going to try to like beat the timer and recall things quick, and you'll see a timer going down as you see a card, as a new card is presented to you. And that just keeps you a little bit more active through the Anki process. And then I would do show answer timer. Okay. And then after that, we're going to leave these alone, except I'm going to turn this off, wait for audio. And then bury card should be like that and show answers good. FSRS is enabled, which is very important. And let's see if there's anything else that I want to do. Maximum interval. So I think we can just keep this as is. Yeah, we're just going to leave that alone. And that should be fine. Okay, so now that we switched all these settings, if we were to just simply close out, then we have to go back and reset because we didn't hit save. So we need to make sure we hit save. Okay, so now those are the new settings for all of our decks. Okay, and so now I want to go through like answering an Anki card. So let's say I want to go study Psych Soc today, whatever. What we're going to do is just click on the deck and hit study now. Okay. And so I'm going to see this card. This is a close, by the way. This is what I meant by close. So um, here's one close, here's probably another close, and here's another close. So this one card really is three cards. And that's why I said that there's 2,800 cards in here, but it says there's 5,000. So there are 5,000 cards in here, but one card has three different cards in it. And so closes are probably the most effective way to study for well, using Anki in general. You want to just test one specific item, and we want to keep these cards as simple as possible. Okay, so say I answer this question, neuron, perfect. Let's say I got that wrong. Like I didn't know the answer to it. We're gonna hit again. Okay. We're not gonna hit hard. Hard, good, and easy. We only hit these if we actually get it correct. But we go in between these ones. We choose hard, good, and easy based on how long it took us or how difficult it was to answer the card. So if it took us a while, let's say we took us like a minute, we're gonna hit hard. Let's say we got it under 30 seconds, we're gonna hit good. And let's say we got it under 10 seconds and we knew it immediately, we're gonna hit easy. Okay. And then that's basically just what you need to do for going through Anki, and you'll just keep studying and these numbers will go down. And then tomorrow, all these cards that we saw will probably be here. Like actually in 6 days. Let's say I got this one right. We'll see this card in 6 days. So it'll be a green card in 6 days, um, which a green card, let me go through here for a second. Okay, so green cards are review cards, red cards are learning, ones that we're actively trying to learn, and then new cards are blue cards. And so that's just basically how you just study the cards. Now we can talk about adding cards and modifying cards, but first let me just describe the browse function. And so when I hit browse, you're going to see this pop up, and it could be a little bit intimidating, but this is what I do is when I'm going through the Altius manual, what I do is I go, let's say I'm studying physics. I'm in physics chapter 2, and I want to study about circuits. I go here under decks, and these are the tags. Each card has different tags like this, so we can like locate where these cards are located. And so I just go here, undo that, and I'll hit this again. Oh, that's not the tag, my bad. We'll go here are the tags. Okay, so these aren't the tags, that's my fault. The tags are right here, obviously, it says tags. And so these are the different tags. These are tagged according to the Khan Academy videos and the Kaplan book textbook. That doesn't really matter. What matters is where these cards are located. And so, like I said, let's say we're studying physics and we're going through circuits. So I'm going to go here to the physics and math tag under the Khan Academy tags, and we're going to hit circuit. So all the circuit flashcards are right under these. Like when I hit circuit, this is just showing me all the different cards for the circuit topic, and we see there's 47 cards. Okay. And so what I would do is as I'm learning about circuits, is I'm actively learning in the Altius manual and just using YouTube videos and stuff. What I do is first, if I'm learning about resistors, for example, I type in resistors right there, and then it drops all the cards that cover resistors. And I can evaluate, modify these cards how I would like. And it also just is a great outline for how I want to make my card about resistors, how I want to remember about resistors, what I want to remember. So it's a great outline, but it also will save us time because there's no reason to make a card that says the exact same thing. For example, give the equation for total resistance when the resistors are in series. I don't need to make a card for this because it's already there. So it saves you a lot of time and it's a great way to study. And so what I recommend doing is, so that's basically tags. That's how you use tags. What I recommend doing first and foremost is if you're studying along with the Altius manual, what I would do is I hit browse and I would just come down here and I would go to just the Anki deck that we have, and I just hit Command A. Okay. After I hit Command A, basically it just selects all the cards that's found in this deck. I hit Command J. When you do that, that means you just suspended these cards. That means I won't see these cards unless they're unsuspended. And you'll see that right here. Um, See how all these cards are suspended? That means I can't, there's nothing for me to study. So I need to unsuspend them. And I unsuspend them as I'm learning the topic in my Altius manual. So I'll go here and let's see here. We're going to go back to our tags and we're going to go back to physics. And that's under the Kaplan. We can go this way, go to circuits. And as I'm learning about circuits, I'm going to hit Command A to highlight all of them, Command J. And now all the cards that I'll see have just been added or released from the deck essentially for me to study. Okay, so they're all new cards. And so that's just the way that I went about it. Because, for example, if I'm studying physics 2 and I haven't yet got to biochem 3 chapter where we're learning about, let's say, carbohydrates and their structures or just metabolism, I don't want to see those cards until I reviewed in my Altius manual and learned from YouTube and EMP links and whatever. So that's that. Don't be like intimidated by these different tags and be confused that some are under Khan Academy and some are Kaplan because these are the same cards. They're just like tagged under Kaplan or Khan Academy, just as an organization standpoint. And so if you want to make sure you've unsuspended all the cards for the chapter you finished, just go through the tags, go to, let's say, physics. Let's make sure all the fluid ones are unsuspended, and we can tell if they're unsuspended if they are not this gold color. Okay. So that's a little bit about the browse function and suspended, unsuspended cards. And something else that we can do in the browse function is, let's say we want to find a card. Let's say, oh man, I messed up that one card, or I want to add something to that card. We can just go simply here and hit, let's say we want to modify our resistor card. So I can just go here and if I can spell and find the card that I want to modify, and I can modify it. I can insert a new picture, or I can put, for example, a missed question. So the next time I see this card, I can take a picture of the missed question that I missed, put it in here, and I can reference it as I study this card. And you can insert any notes you want under the extra function, put YouTube links so you can watch a video on it if you keep getting the card wrong. And it's just a great way to learn. And so, yeah, so that's how to use your browse function. It's basically allows you to find any card that you made or that you want to find if you're wondering if I need to really create a card for this topic or if it's already there in the pre-made deck. And so that's how I did my study. I just went through the Altius manual and YouTube videos, made sure the cards were made for a certain subject, and if not, I would add and make those cards myself. Okay, so in order to make cards, I would go to decks and then I'd go, let's say I'm learning about Psych Social. Let's say I'm in Psych 1 and I want to write the pathway of vision or light from basically the eyeball to the brain. What I would do is I'd open up the subdeck, which under behavioral, hit A, and now I can make a card about it. So in order to do this, what I would suggest is I would go here from the to the type of card and go to close Anki MCAT. Okay, and this will basically give you the style of card. If you don't want to do that, you can use basic and hit choose. And then you'll only have the basic flashcard, which is like a Quizlet card, right? So just front back, here's the question, and then here's the answer. But I think basic are not great. I'd recommend using this for pretty much all of your flashcards. And so, like I said before, if we're trying to create a flashcard, what we would do is write up what we want to see, first of all. It's the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, and if now I just need to decide what I want to like test myself on, and if let's say cell organelle, I think what I want to do is I want to test myself on what organelle is the powerhouse of the cell. So what I would do now is I would make it a close. And what you can do is you can just hit this and now this is my flashcard, okay? And so you can use this function, but it's kind of slow. What I would recommend doing is on Mac, I don't know what it is for Windows, but you just hit like Command Shift C, and that gives me the close. You can always Google like what are the hotkeys for that. But boom, here's my card right here. I can insert pictures right in here, any lecture notes, any missed questions related to the mitochondria. And there's that. And then what you do next is you hit add. Okay. And I just added that card. But if I want to, for example, preview that card and see what it looks like, I can just hit history, hit that. And there is my card right here. The mitochondria is the power of the house of the cell. And if I want to see what that really looks like, what I'll see when I'm studying, I can just hit preview. And this is what the card would be like. This is exactly how I would see it whenever I see this card. The blank is the powerhouse of the cell. And it's just a great way to see if your cards that you're making really make sense. Because sometimes in my head, it makes sense to make a close around mitochondria. But once I preview it, I realize, oh, that's not really a great card. Okay. So that's how to make cards. Okay. And so that's pretty much everything you need to know. I'm probably missing a lot. There's a steep learning curve with Anki, but I think if you watch this video, it'll be really helpful. One final thing is this, I really like this add-on here. It shows me like basically my progress. What I love about it is it shows when I will be done with the deck or all these cards, and it says based off of my scheduling, I will be done studying all the cards by tomorrow if I do all these cards right here, and it'll give me the exact date, which is really helpful because if you have the MCAT, like September 13th, for example, you can see when you'll actually be done with this deck. Keep in mind that suspended cards do not are not incorporated in the scheduling. So it says I'll be done with all the cards I need to study by tomorrow, but this is because I haven't unsuspended these. Once I hit browse, go to my Anki deck, and I hit Command A and hit Command J, now that I unsuspended all the cards, it says I'll be done in 107 days, right? And so we'll have to work with the schedule when you're actually taking the MCAT and everything to make sure that the timing works. And if this is too much, what we'll have to do if this is too many days and this will be after your MCAT date, what we'll have to do is customize your settings so that we increase the daily limit. For example, see what happens when I change it to 100 cards. I'll be done in 54 days. Okay. So we'll play with this and figure this out together. But I think this is pretty good. I think if you watch this video and you go back and clarify anything that doesn't make sense with me personally, or just rewatch certain aspects of this video, I think you'll be at a great start. One final thing is after you finish studying each day, just make sure you sync this. And looks like I need to put my Anki username and password here in order to do that. But normally, if it's already inserted, then you should be good to go. Just make sure on if you Google Anki and you sign up and you make your username and password that you'll remember that and put it in here, and then you should be good to go. Just make sure you're syncing because it saves your progress. And there's that. I guess one last thing I guess I could show you is there's this FSRS helper. If you just go to Tools, FSRS helper, let's say I have a full length exam tomorrow on tomorrow's Saturday, and I don't think I'll get to my Anki cards because I'll be studying and taking a full length and reviewing it after I take it, after taking a little break. What you can do is you can reschedule your cards, and so you can postpone cards in all decks. That basically will just shift all your cards that you're supposed to see tomorrow to like Sunday and everything. It'll just reorganize everything. And this is why FSRS is so helpful. I don't fully understand it, but it's so much better now with Anki. And so, or let's say you want to see more cards, you can hit advanced cards in all deck, and then you'll see the cards that you should see tomorrow today. I rarely did that because of the workload, but there's that option. Okay, and so yeah, I think I covered a lot of good aspects of what you should know. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate and reach out to me.